This is Blocks to Flow, the space where learning, living, and leading return to alignment. Hosted by Kohila Sivas. Together we reconnect, restore, and rewire the missing link. Unlearn survival, relearn rhythm.
Hello, Coach Liz. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing really well. Thank you. I'm really happy to be with you, to be able to talk to you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Before we begin our conversation, Liz, we always do an exercise, which is the breathing exercise. As you all know, right? Those of you who are watching and Liz as well, we always have our brain, like our past brain, thinking about all the past things, right? To just kind of want to rewind and play, right? All the time. So that's happening. Or sometimes we're just so worried about the future and fearful. We're over here with our future brain, thinking about all the things that's going to happen. What happens is that we're never here, like here and now in the presence. So I like for every time I do these conversation, I like to ask our guests to tell us what type of breathing exercise do you do to bring yourself here and now?
One that I've been using lately, and I've also been teaching a couple of students, especially because a lot of the students that I work with go to a really big high school of several thousand students. I tell them during the passing periods between classes to do a quick breathing exercise as they're walking, right? Because they don't need any equipment. They don't need a computer. They just need themselves. And I feel like it helps them sort of quiet the noise while they're transitioning from class to class, where it's like breathe in for 3, hold it for 4, let it out for 5. And it's so simple, but I feel it. I've found for a lot of them, they say, that really does help them sort of decompress from where they were and like get ready for what's up next. Like you were saying, like get rid of the past and don't worry about the future yet. But I'm like, I'm right here now. I'm moving in space, but cognitively I can sort of, and spiritually I can kind of just be here now and be on my own.
Yeah. Can you help us do a couple of those rounds? Let's see.
I suppose you would do it at your own pace too, but you can breathe in for 3, right?
Yeah. So breathe in for 3. And then hold for 4.
Hold for 4. And then we let it out for 5.
5. Let's do it again. Breathe in for 3. Hold for 4. And then breathe out for
5.
5. So 3, 4, 5. Just go on. Okay, one more time. Breathe in for 3. And hold for 4. And then breathe out for
5.
5. And a lot of the time we don't have to focus really hard on the numbers, right? Like sometimes that's not the point. Like, did I hold for 4? That's not the point. Just hold enough so you feel the release, you feel the hold, you feel the inhale, right? It's all about the feeling for your nervous system to calm down. So, yeah.
And it's interesting. I find like I try to do something like this with my students in every session. And I'll ask them, do they need something that's more grounding or more energizing? And most of the time they choose grounding, and I'll participate in it with them. And it helps me too. It helps me sort of transition from the craziness of being a parent earlier in the evening to like, okay, I'm here now, I'm with the student and I'm going to stay focused with them, and to just kind of transition my energy and ground me. And I often thank them because it's like, I needed that,
We all do. We all do.
Yeah.
And I just did one with you right now and I feel great because I feel now and here. But it brings me here again, right? Because otherwise, everybody has something to do in the past or something to do in the future. But here is so hard for us because of all the noises around us, right?
But it's so easy to just take a minute, right? That's all we took.
Yes. It's not a long time. No equipment's needed. Just you and yourself and your breaths. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. Love it. So you are a Blocks to Flow certified and licensed coach. So when you think of the phrase Blocks to Flow, what comes to your mind?
I'm thinking of like a moment in my life when I'm feeling that block, right? The first thing that comes to mind is not responding to my kids like I want to when we're in a hurry. And it's like a snap. I'll say something or I'll yell at them or I'll slam the door and it feels really good. But it's like we're rushing out the door and I'm just like caught up in the moment. And I feel like I want to handle that better. And it's so easy to to say that you want to handle it better, but in the moment you get caught up in it, right? But then I'm thinking, like, as a parent, I really do want to be more responsive and not just react.
Yeah. So let's look at that, because that's not just you. That's every parent does that. Well, I mean, if you don't do it every day, you do it sometime. We have to, right? I've done it too. So why do you think we do that?
I think our system is just overloaded, right? It's like we have expectations of how something is going to go, and we're trying to direct the actions of somebody else, and it's hard,
Yes.
right?
But underneath it is more than that, is I need to do it right.
Mhm.
Right? As parents, we try to do everything right. And then if there is a mistake, oh no, right?
Right. Well, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, but that's the underlying thing, is that I got to get this perfect. So then perfect add pressure, right? The minute the perfect comes along, we're going to add pressure to it. Our kids don't need pressure.
No.
They don't need perfect either.
Right. They just need us to show up, I think.
Yeah. Calm.
Yeah.
And present is what they're looking for as well. But we have expectation because we came from a system. We were trained on by a system, our education system, where performance was everything, and perfect performance was what was given
Mhm.
good grades.
Right. And in a lot of families too, it's like the expectation, or I think from the kids' perspective, the expectation is, oh, I have to be perfect. I can't mess up.
Yes.
So,
So some of you might be thinking, like, listening to this, might be thinking, well, don't we all have to get things right? Like, can I just do whatever I want? That's not what we're saying, right? There are guidelines. We are going to do our best. I'm saying putting pressure on getting it best and perfect is a different story. So that's where it comes along, is that pressure makes us so reactive. If we don't get it right, there's going to be something going to happen. Then the fear of something happening, which is in the future now, right?
right. And we don't need to worry about that yet.
Yes, we're not even there. Not even there. So what can we do, Liz, during this type of moments when we are under pressure to perform? What's the simple thing parents can do?
I think recognizing when we do get heated like that, or we do get frustrated, and like, you slam the door and then you get in the car and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just had a moment. Like I was being human. I was frustrated. Like, and just acknowledging that to kids, I think, and letting them see us or hear us, be human, and know that, like, it's okay to mess up, and then apologize, or, do better. Yeah.
I think conversations with our kids about, when you do have those, if you feel like you blew it, we say blew it, right? Like you just had a moment, like you said, explaining really helps, because they need to know that you are a human. Because
Mhm.
when we can't set false set up for them in the future either, right? Because we are their role models, right?
Right. It's like, I'm doing the best that I can. And in this moment, this is the best that I can do. But I can also acknowledge, like, maybe I could have done that differently. And that's okay.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a conversation. That's beautiful than staying quiet and thinking that they'll just forget about it. You know how many parents do that, right?
Yeah.
We're so ashamed that we did it, and we don't want to talk about it, and we almost feel like, okay, if I just don't talk about it, they wouldn't have even seen it. But do you think they don't see it?
Oh, they see it.
Our
But
kids are like full-time photographers. They don't shut their cameras off. They're
and
having all.
I feel like their memory too is like a steel trap. Like, they'll remember that one day that something happened when you
And they're
forgot their
recording.
blue sweater at home. And yeah.
Yeah, have you ever seen these little kids? They say some things and they're like, "Where did you learn that from?" And then it's almost like the same words that we've used.
Uh-huh.
They didn't listen to it though. At the time it was happening, they probably were doing their own thing, playing over somewhere in the other room. But they're picking. Their antennas are scanning to pick
Yeah,
up.
like, I'll hear my daughter say things to her younger brother, and I'm like, "That came out of my mouth." And now she's parroting it, right? So I'm like, she was listening. That is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. I think it's almost important that we have that conversation. These blocks, w- we block ourselves with perfect, right? Being wanting to be perfect is the block. Then
Mhm.
we overreact to protect that
Mhm.
perfect narrative, and then we feel bad.
Yeah.
as if we done something wrong. So we talked about it. The whole thing is unblocking that would be just to be human. There's no perfect parenting. I wish I could give you that book, but we don't. None of us have it. If anybody's selling it out there, they're lying, right? No, but they're lying. There's no perfect way to do it because they don't know your child, though. If you think about it, how can I make a perfect book for parenting when I don't know your kids? I've never met them.
Right. Or even from one kid to the next. Like I was having
Yeah,
this
you have 3
conversation
kids. Yeah.
with my daughter the other day. Like she's 16, my son is 12. Like she says, well, how come you do this with him? And I'm like, well, I learned from parenting you, and he's also a different person. So parenting is a wild ride.
There is no one book that's going to come out in the world, and if they say it's pretty much nonsense because every soul is different. Your son is a different soul than your daughter is a different soul. They are here to express themselves, right? So
And
we
they're not
need
afraid
to.
to.
Yeah, they're not afraid to. So we need to give them the space they need. It's like giving each plane their own runway,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
They need that to express themselves. That's how I look at it. So yeah, every journey is different. And that's what parenting is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. Our kids are older now, but any day do it again. Because with them, we learn so much about ourselves, don't we? Like I'm a person who I am today because of my kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I would say I would have been a less of a person if I didn't have those kids in my life and my students in my life.
Yeah, I was going to say I've learned so much from my students too. Like I had students long before I had my own children. And it's sort of funny that like the experience that I had with students sort of informed the way that I parented. And then now the way that I parent informs the way that I work with other people's kids. And so it's been an interesting process.
Yes. So with the blocks to flow, when you're working with your students, one of the things that blocks to flow and the Readiness OS system is doing is we expect our students to be ready to learn, or even we expect adults to be ready to go, right? But there is the state or a phase between being ready to go. Before that, there is a readiness phase where we get ready to perform and do things. How has this changed the way you look at education?
I think there's so much going on beyond the classroom that I think teachers realize, but maybe don't have the time to address. And that's one of the things I love about the coaching that I'm doing now is that I can address that stuff with students, right? As a teacher, I would see the students in the classroom that weren't in flow, that weren't ready. And I would try my best to help them get there. But with a classroom full of kids, it's different, right? Because like you said, everybody has their own runway, right? And so having to be the air traffic control for so many different runways is exhausting. And being able to focus on one student at a time, it's very different. And I love that I actually get the chance to interact with them one-on-one and figure out who they are and where they need help getting into flow.
Yeah. Let's talk about this performance economy we have created, right? If there's no performance, like somebody signs up with you,
Mhm.
and then the parents are like, what does all parents care about? Like, what do we want as parents? What do we want? We want our kids' life to be in flow and performing and beautifully evolving, right? That's what we want, right? All parents want that, right? That's what they want. Now, when we introduce a program of readiness, it's not just jump into performance because we don't even know if the system is ready for performance yet. We can't let a plane, you were saying earlier, you can't let a plane take off until it's ready.
Mhm.
I'm going to fix things in midair,
Right. That's a lot harder.
right? So we got to get it all ready before we take off. So
Mhm.
that's what we're doing. So in that, sometimes people think, oh, that's a delay.
Mhm.
So if
But
we go back.
it's not, because then you're preventing things later on during the flight, right?
Exactly. This is actually big. I didn't even have this ready for our conversation, but it's working really beautifully, this plane analogy, right?
Uh-huh.
Because if I don't do the readiness on the ground,
Mhm.
just imagine what's going to happen in the midair.
Right, and it could be even more catastrophic. So it's like the prevention helps everybody involved, right? Like working on the prevention end before you get into the air is really helpful.
And you know what I'm just downloading right now, what I'm thinking? is also like, it's like our education system is like, right, currently, it's like looking at the plane going, why aren't you taking off? Hello, take off. Right? It's like talking to a plane that's not ready to take off.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
Right.
You can try all you want. It's just going to look stubborn. And that's what we're seeing is behaviors from our students, right? Currently.
Because all the air traffic controllers are arguing with each other? Or is it plane, or is it I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's looking at it as, okay, why can't you fly? Well, I'm not ready to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Readiness is a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that,
Get them ready. We got to help them. That's our job, right?
yes, that's the beautiful thing about the Readiness OS is we look at this as system, right? Because a plane is a system of other subsystems working together to take off and stay in and go to the next destination. Our body's the same way. We're made out of all these systems working together to be I am and be who you are. So if we don't go to that system level analysis and look at where's the blocks are and unblock and bring them up to activation so that it could be an acceleration, that's what we're doing. So it does take time, but when you do that readiness work, you can fly anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And I think the idea of all the different systems and the metaphors and things really resonates with a lot of people, and it makes it real and less abstract for a lot of students, especially our young people, because it's something with the metaphors, like the traffic light, right, or the battery for their energy. It's like understanding, or the filing cabinet for their memory system. It helps them understand all of these different parts, but makes it very concrete because it's like it's all inside of you. But if you can sort of envision all of these different pieces inside of you, it makes it a little bit easier to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for parents who are listening, right now to us, what would you say is the missing link right now in learning for their kids so that they can understand better?
I think about this you can think about it from a couple of different perspectives. I think for me, I was thinking about it from a teacher perspective first, and thinking about the missing link was creating connections for students through music and stories, and finding different ways to lead instead of an academic discipline. It was like, can I help them connect to what they're learning? And maybe it's the same thing for parents too. It's like connecting the learning, what your student is doing at school, to life, right? And helping them find those connections, because maybe they don't have the connection yet, or maybe the teacher hasn't explained it in a way that really resonated with them. And my daughter has had different history teachers, and she talks about how this year, her history teacher in particular, she understands or can engage with the material so much more because he's doing it in a way that resonates with her, right? Mm-hmm. And so you don't always have control as a student over who that person is at the front of the room. But I think figuring out ways to like engage with the material and like finding a way that it resonates with you as a student, as a learner, to really get into it, instead of like when you're feeling blocked, it's like the information's not getting in because I can't find a way to attach it, or I can't find a way to engage with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now that you have your own business as a holistic neurogrowth success coach using the blocks to flow method, how are you able to help students? And you said that you've really found helping young adults, very unique to yourself, right? Seeing them flourish in this model is amazing for you. So tell me a little bit about that.
So I think giving them ideas about how their body is made up of lots of different systems. And it's like, I'm one person, you're one person, but there's so many different parts to you. And it's like, telling them about their strengths, right? Figuring out this is where you're really in flow. This is where like your system is running and it's healthy and going at full throttle, right? But then these other systems are blocked and they're impeding the progress of the other systems, right? Because they're all interconnected. And so being able to talk to them about these are all different parts of you, and helping them figure out, okay, how do I become the coordinator of all of these different things and help? Because that is part of growing up and getting to know yourself, right? I feel like a lot of teenagers and young adults, they are trying to figure out who they are and how they learn and how they show up in the world. And being able to name the different systems and understand what's going on behind the scenes, I think can really help them get into flow, right? Because they're able to see, okay, well, there's this one piece, there's the executive functioning, or there's the, emotional stuff, or maybe the relationship issue. Relationships, I feel like, are really big at this age. Friendships, there's lots of drama. There's romantic connections, there's conflict with parents. And so that has been a very big piece, I think, for a lot of the students that I've worked with, is figuring out the relationship blocks and how that affects all of their other systems.
Yeah, beautiful. And also, don't you think, when we start getting into those areas, we tend to blame ourselves as we're not good enough, or we're not good at it, or we're just not born with those genes, or, I'm not cut for this, or, these kind of things, right? But when you look at it through the system perspective, it's no longer it's you as a soul. It's that these systems are not in alignment.
Right.
And these systems are not activated. So when we bring that awareness, they quickly dissociate all of that labels from me being me this to, oh, it's just the system's fault. Oh, let's fix the system. Any system can be fixed.
Right.
But fixing an identity is not going to work. That's identity. Like if I say I'm dumb, that's an identity statement, right? But if I say my system is misaligned, oh, that's easy.
Right. There are ways to align it. Yeah.
I'll just have to figure out how to align it. But if I say I'm an idiot or stupid, those are personal things that I cannot let go, because it seems like I am at fault. Here, no one is at fault. So that's the beauty of it, right? When we switch that and dissociate personal identity towards, oh, it's just a system is not in alignment. Let's get that to work. So it works beautifully. And it does take, slightly longer to see the performance. But when you see it, it's permanent. Right? You've seen it with your students, right? How quickly we can do it, but also by doing the prerequisite to it and the readiness to it, they do fly on their own, in midair, right? So that's really important as well. So what do you think was hardest for you, hardest pattern or belief for you to unlearn to move through this as a coach?
I initially thought of this question about patterns as a teacher, not so much as a coach, because I feel like as a coach, it's sort of opened up my whole way of thinking and working with students. As a language teacher, it was hard for me really to go from grammar study equals language learning to we need to learn how to communicate, right? And I don't know why it took me that long, because it was maybe because of my conditioning. And so as a coach, though, I feel like it's almost making that transition from teacher to coach unblocked what I was feeling about how to show up for students. I feel like as a teacher, I was constrained by time and by curriculum and by the sheer numbers of people in a room with me at once. And as a coach, it's so great because I can work with a kid and figure out what they need and take the time, because we work over the course of a couple of months together, take the time to really sort of dig in with them and look at those systems and say, this is what you're really good at, or this is where you're in flow right now. And let's use that to our advantage to help you bring your other systems into flow. And being able to really personalize the experience for them has been transformative for me too.
And you finally see the light bulb moments, or the aha moments, or the, I can do this. I'm not as dumb as I used to think, or, those moments are so important for educators, right? Because that's what we go into this profession for. But in the classroom, it's so hard to get.
And I feel like some of my students lately, it's not so much that I'm dumb, it's the social stuff and the relationship. Nobody likes me. I'm annoying. And like looking at that piece too, and the relationships and how that shows up in their learning environment is interesting, especially in high school, because I feel like there's so many emotions and so many relationships and so much happening at once, especially high school, college, that I feel like it's overwhelming for a lot of students, because the social stuff sometimes takes over and hijacks the learning. Right? Because they're so focused on what happened in the passing period, or they're so focused on the kid that's sitting across the room that they have a crush on, or that they used to have a crush on, and now there's drama, and there's this friend that said something at lunch, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah. I think it's the setup, right? Because this readiness in our blocks to flow, if we set it up through that, they no longer are into the past or the future. They're just here and now. In here and now, also, we must, I think one of the biggest thing that's happening to many, many people is that we don't have a purpose. Like we don't have a strong purpose. Every child must have a strong purpose and a value that they hold true to, right? So without those, what happens is if my neighbor says something like your nose is ugly, I will then believe it. You know what I mean? I don't define myself. I haven't defined myself yet.
Right.
I'm letting others and other people and social situation to define me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just have to be so unrooted to receive all of those things. And I'm going to be very disappointed at all of these things because some people don't care what they tell us.
Right. They do it just for fun, like for sport.
Yeah. And then I'm at an age where I don't know the difference. Like me and you now and adults who are watching us knows the difference that I don't really care how you feel. You can say and walk away, but still feel hurt though, right?
Right.
Yeah. But our kids at this age, you're saying the elementary, middle school, young adults, they haven't developed that enough to know that the hurt stuff they're hearing from these people, they can't say it's none of my business and walk away. They are going to put all their energy and resources that are available to invest in that negative thing. And then now we know it's a spiral downward, right?
Mm-hmm. And then forget learning because there's
learning's out of the
things going on.
the sphere. It's in Pluto. We kicked it off so far. That's why forcing them to do anything at this point is like it's forced.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. It's not possible. It's actually torture. If you think about it. At that stage, if you force learning onto anyone when they're going through this, it's torture.
Yeah.
Now, some people might listening to us might think, oh, this is kind of like gentle parenting. You know, you're just going to let them off the hook. Like they're just going to act as they can't learn and they're trapped in their negative emotion. We're just going to let them know, right? What do you say to that?
No, I think that we need to recognize what they're going through and honor it. Maybe you can empathize. My daughter thinks that I don't understand what she's going through because I was a teenager, 30 years ago. She's like, but things are so different now. I'm like, but they're really not. I mean, social media and phones and whatever, but we're still human and we still have those emotions and we still have the confusion and we still have the relationships that we're navigating, right? And so I feel like honoring their reality and just showing up for them, right? And something that I've tried with her and with some of my clients as well is, do you need me to listen or do you want advice? Like, do you just need to vent or do you need me to help you solve the problem, right? And just listening to them, I think, and sort of honoring what they're going through. And then if they want advice from somebody, wise, they can ask for it. But if they're not looking for advice, if they just needed to kind of get it off their chest, it's like, that's okay too.
Yeah. I also think that acknowledging the difference, like when she says, every child says that to their kid, right? Mom, you don't know what I'm going through, right?
You don't understand.
You don't understand. Yeah, that's my son says it too. Everyone says it. So that's normal. But when they say it, you said talk to them, right, about this and then give them option. Like what do you want me to do? Listen, I'll be the ears that listen to you, or I'll be the person, if you want, give you some, perspective on this, right? I can give you perspective as well, because advice is not a good word. When you're talking to your child, advice is not a good word.
Yeah.
It's a bad word. They shut you out immediately. They here's my advice to you.
Really, I don't want your advice.
No. Here's a perspective you can think about, right? That lands better. But I think what they're going through is the same as what we did go through as well. A lot of it is because there was gossip, there was mean people, there was people who were ugly, right? Like who made us feel ugly too, right? Like ugly meaning not look-wise, but in their mannerism wise, right?
Being jerks to other people. Yeah, just
ugly behaviors, right? Towards others. We were going through that. But the biggest thing is that we were able to go home and shut the door and it never came with us.
Yeah.
At least we had a peaceful place of home or somewhere. If we leave the grounds of the school, we can ignore them. And then it starts again the next morning.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or afternoon if you go play outside or whatever. But now it doesn't stop.
Right. It's constant because everybody's talking and everybody's...
It doesn't stop.
posting videos, posting pictures.
Snapchat and all these other ways, it doesn't stop. It continues on and on and on. So there's no break from it. Can you imagine if you had a bully or if you had a negative talker in your life that's constantly with you? Can't imagine it, because I did have a lot of people who were cruel to me when I was growing up. Can't imagine
Well,
them
that's
coming.
a whole other thing of, like, self-talk, right? When you go and, like, in your head and you're your own worst critic, like, that's a whole other session, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So they are going through a lot. So telling them that would be good too. Yeah, your life is far more harder than what I would explain, because we could then we can talk about, okay, how can we shut some of this off from your life? Because that really helped me, because when I went home when I was 15, 14, I could shut people out.
Right,
Even
having
though
that
my head might have thought about it, but I could actually physically I don't have to endure these things, right?
mhm,
In my space. So then go into conversations like that. But it's a lot of conversation, lots of connection. I know you have a teenager, so you understand this, right? And also, even my son who entered currently post secondary, same. I meet him with him 3 times a week. We talk. I don't give him advice. I just give him perspectives. Because that'll be the end of my conversation with him.
mhm, yeah,
And I ask him for his ideas. What would he do? Like, what do you think?
yeah,
Because it's so important to ask our kids too, right?
yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well,
What's
and
happening?
giving them a chance to think through what's happening instead of saying, "Well, we just got home from school, you have to do X, Y, and Z." Asking them, like, "Okay, we just got home, what do you need to do?
Yeah.
What are your responsibilities?" And having them kind of think through it instead of me just saying it to them and there's like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever." They're not maybe not even listening, but asking them, "What do you have to do?" They have to think through it to be able to actually articulate it,
Yeah.
right? And it also gives them, I think, the power too, and then we understand as parents, like, okay, they understand what they need to do,
Yes.
and hopefully they're gonna go do it. And then if they left something out or they forgot something, then we can say, "Okay, well, what about or do you remember we talked about XYZ also?" Right? But it creates that conversation like you were saying. It's not just a, "I'm giving you advice," or, "I'm telling you what to do." It's a having the back and forth of,
Yeah.
"Do you remember what you need to do?"
Yeah. And that's a plan, right? Where you're taking there is you have a plan with them, and you probably planned it out with them. And if after school is getting something is not the right time, you just ask them, when is the right time?
Mhm.
Like I've always asked my son, like he says, no teenager ever want to talk to you, right? They always push you out, right? They're like, stop, mom, stop, mom. I don't have time, mom. I'm busy, mom, right? Yeah, you don't have to talk right now. You just tell me a time.
Mhm.
The grounding part of it and the guidance part of it is we are going to talk. That's not off the paper right now. That's not an answer I'm looking for, yes or no. I'm not looking for yes or no here. We're
Mhm.
going to have a conversation, but when is that conversation? You can tell me the good time for you,
Mhm.
because I have all the time available for you.
Yeah.
Because, for us, our kids are everything, right? They
Right.
should feel like they're the center. For me, they are very important person. He or she is a very important person. So I can say, I have time for you. You just tell me when you're ready.
Mhm.
A lot of parents tell me my child's old now. They don't like speaking to me. I can't get them to speak to me. They say that there's no way out anymore. Like we're gone too far. If any of you listening like that, you haven't gone any far. It's always, you can take it back with presence and love and connection. You can always bring everything back. And also, even like you said earlier, being honest, right? Say like, you know what? We haven't had real conversation in a long time.
Right.
I know things have been very, very difficult and off, and we've had a lot of misunderstanding, and we have said so many different things to us, each other, and it's hurtful. But from now on, I want to do something different.
Mhm. And I think kids understand that and they appreciate it,
Yeah.
right?
And then switching some of these words, right? Do it now. Are you going to do it? Why aren't you doing it?
Mhm.
Right. Shifting those kind of phrases will automatically show them you're trying to change.
Right.
You're trying to change, right? Show them you're trying to change and see what their response is.
Mhm.
You'll
Right,
be amazed.
I think giving them agency and giving them choices
Yes.
that you approve of
Yeah.
instead of, "What do you wanna do today? Do you wanna do this, or this?" right? Because like you've already sort of curated the choices
Yes.
that are all acceptable to you. I like that.
And also with homework time or chores time or any time, these are the 5 things we got to get done today.
Mhm.
Let's plan out how we're going to get it done. Tell me what times are they going to happen. Let's get it done. Here you go.
Yeah, like which 2 are you gonna do right away? Which 2 are you gonna do after dinner? Which 2 are you gonna do
Yeah.
right before bed?
Yeah. I don't care the order. You shouldn't either. But whatever pleases you, we just have to do these because we are a ecosystem. Like we're an ecosystem of people living together in this household, right? So these are not rules for because I command, you know,
Right.
do something or I'm so, I own you or anything like that. It's just that we live together, we function together. These are the things we need in order to function together. That's it. So a lot of families feel like, chores are like something they could run into a lot of problems, right?
Mhm.
With chores. But if you put it as we all live together, what's your part in this? Now we're teaching them responsibility to take accountability for their share, right? So, which is a great thing. So there is never a late, right?
Mhm.
Never late.
Yeah.
People who are feeling like I've done too much. I don't think my family can be fixed. Do you think that's possible?
I think, yeah, I mean, little steps, right? You can fix anything. You can just one little tweak might make a huge difference, right? Like give you a few extra minutes in the morning so you're not getting frustrated or, doing something in a different order or all that. But
Even taking a breath.
parenting is hard. And
But don't respond. Like if you're feeling like really stressed out, don't respond. Even like we talked about, we started off today, right? Just take deep breaths and just find your calm and peace and
Mhm.
start speaking from that. That's one step forward, right?
And like we talked about before, also like being honest with your kids and letting them know, I can't respond right now. I can't give you an answer to that right now because I'm feeling frustrated or I'm feeling whatever you're feeling. And then give me an hour and I'll let you know. Or please wait until tomorrow morning. I'll let you know in the morning. And giving them permission to do that kind of thing too. I think, that I'm not the only one that gets the luxury of time to say, I can't do that right now. Or I can't tell you right now. Giving them some space too, I think, is important. Kind of depends on the age, right? And the maturity of the child. But I think that it's important to teach them that and let them practice it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So Liz, if your younger self could witness who you are right now, what do you think they notice first?
I think my gray hair, but
I don't see it.
so
Okay.
yeah, good. Uh, I do think
Beyond looks, what will they
beyond,
know?
beyond looks, my confidence and just caring less about what other people think. I feel like when I was younger, I was very invested in what my peers thought and what my parents thought and what my sister thought. And it's like, that doesn't matter as much,
How
right?
much
And I
energy
think
right? How much energy you spend on that, right?
a lot of
Investment.
people spend a lot of energy. And it's like, like not inner peace, I wouldn't go there, but just the confidence and I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become more and more confident and maybe partly because I cared less about what other people think, right? And so I don't know if maybe I care less because I'm more confident or if it's sort of a combination, right?
Mhm.
But I think that's probably what would surprise my younger self the most.
Yeah. So thinking less about what other things and more about what you're thinking,
Mhm.
because that allowed you so much space to do so many things.
For sure.
Yeah, because if we think about it, if those of you who are listening, think about today, how many times have you visited? What did they think? What does my mom think? What does my husband think? What does my wife think? What does my brother think? What did the store owner think?
Mhm.
Probably gone to a coffee shop and felt like, what are they thinking?
And sometimes it's a good idea to take other people's opinions or considerations into account, but ultimately, right, you have to have that self-confidence to show up as your authentic self and do your best, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So now for our viewers, many of them are parents, many of them could be young adults, right? What is one simple action could they take today to get closer to alignment and into flow?
I think that it's different for everybody, but sort of to piggyback on what we were just saying, like taking a minute to quiet the noise that's all around you, quieting everybody's opinions and all of the comments that they're making, and listen to yourself. And right, kind of not look inward, but look inward and kind of just think, what is it that I want? Or how is it that I want to be? And not worrying about things that people are saying online, or the TikTok video that you just watched, or the books that you're reading about this is how you should be. It's like, I want to be my best self for me and show up for the people in my life authentically.
Yeah, like you can get to a state where you can look at things, but it doesn't affect your flow. Like I can go online and I can stay with, a few things today, right now, and I would not be affected by it because I and you probably are same. We've developed this, through our blocks to flow training and everything. We developed this space where I know it's distracting me and I can call it. This is a distraction. This is a not fact. This is kind of funny, but like we can just kind of go through it like that and then come back to flow and say, okay, what's next? What is it that I need to do now? Right. But when we're training that muscle, it's like going to the gym. If it's not trained, it can just take you that way, or that way, or that way. And now you're floating around.
But I think finding a way to quiet the noise and really listen to yourself is key.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you know exactly what you want, what needs to happen. So that brings that 100% clarity, brings the flow back into your life, right? Thank you. That's amazing. And I love how you said it's not going to work like this for everyone, but I think breathing does work for everyone. Because it's connected to all of our systems. That's why. Yeah. So when one system is off or another system is off and we don't know which system is off, breathing always centers back again, right? And gives
that
us
reset.
That's one thing that anybody can do to find what is coming up for them. At that point, you'll look at what is coming up for you. And that's going to be different for you, for me, everyone else, right? So, and how can you connect with Coach Liz? I'm going to have all her information on the show notes, and we're going to have that here so you can connect with her. She is on all social. She's on LinkedIn. It's a great place to see what she's doing as well. And she does offer coaching to young adults, high schoolers, and teenagers. And she also, with our Blocks to Flow, we work with not only kids, but with the whole family, right? Because it's holistic. So you can reach out to her. Now, I just want you to finish this sentence for me, Liz. What is the sentence is? Flow is?
Flow is feeling safe enough to be yourself and let other people in. I think it's also finding the best way for you to learn about or experience the world. It's like knowing who you are, feeling confident that you can be authentic.
Beautiful. So I love what you said. Feeling safe enough to let others in. So it goes back to what we just talked about. Being online, you're so safe that you know what information to let in, right? Getting to that point. Because safety is everything.
Or what to not let in.
Yes. That's automatic, right?
Yeah.
If I know what to let in, I'm going to push, repel everything. So the safety in your mind, when you're in that flow, you can bring total safety that repels what we don't want and invites what we want. Yeah. So safety. Yeah. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Thank you. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Blocks to Flow, where learning, living, and leading return to alignment. Keep reconnecting. Keep restoring. Keep rewiring your way back to rhythm. Discover more at holisticsuccesscodes.com and join the movement reshaping how we learn, live, and lead. Until next time, flow forward.